After 6 years of bloodshed, the British throw in the towel. The 13 American colonies have won their independence. Now comes the hard part.
When you're declaring independence, you don't have to worry about running a government. You have to only assert what you're against.
So when the war ended, there was a feeling that we could finally go and chart our own course, that's what independence means.
Most people didn't think of themselves as Americans.
If you had asked, who are you, they would have said, I'm a Georgian or I'm a Virginian.
The average American was born, lived out his life or her life, and died within a 28-mile radius.
The Articles of Confederation reflected that. It reflected a collection of sovereign states that were joined together loosely for a common purpose.
In the very early days of our country, during the period of the Articles of Confederation, there was a lot of trouble.
Trouble among the states that would spell economic chaos if it happened today. And we're doing a documentary on the Constitution of the United States.
Yeah?
We fought a revolution and won.
Yep.
It's pretty amazing. And then the 13 states adopted the Articles of Confederation. They weren't really a country, a single country. So we'll get to that. But I want to just ask you first about is where these lobster go and how do they get there?
You know, we have an internet business. Some of them are actually shipped through UPS to customers all over the United States.
Under the Articles of Confederation, you couldn't have done that because those other states would say, our water's going to be fished by our lobstermen and they're going to sell locally and we don't want you bringing your lobsters in. So they'd put a tariff on it or just prohibit it altogether. What would happen if we went back to that?
Oh my gosh. Well, the price of lobsters would be extremely low because obviously we catch way more than what we could use in our state alone. Most of it leaves the state, one way or the other.
And does it ever encounter any barriers like that?
Not anymore, no.
So if you had to sell just in this local area,
Yeah. Oh, we'd be giving them away.
we'd be giving them away.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not enough market.
No.
It would put almost everybody out of business, totally.
Well, that's pretty much what happened under the Articles of Confederation. There wasn't much commerce and it really held the economy down.
Yep.
The states were erecting barriers to trade, making it impossible to ship goods across state lines or subjecting them to high taxes. It took a crisis to bring the states together. In Massachusetts, high taxes and poor harvests threatened thousands of veterans with poverty and prison.
And they had a big grievance, which is they had never been paid enough for their service in the Revolutionary War. They were owed.
Led by former Army Captain Daniel Shays, they rebel. Why are the farms in danger?
We have difficulty selling our produce and commerce across state lines. Each state has different rules. Each state would have their own currency. Is it honored in every state? We think not. We're having trouble.
Sounds like the Revolutionary War all over again. Another war about trade and taxes. Massachusetts begs the Continental Congress to crush the rebels. But under the Confederation, Congress has no power to tax, therefore no way to pay an army. Local merchants dig into their own pockets to quash the rebellion. Shays' rebellion was just a symptom. The underlying disease surely would have proved fatal to the young nation if something was not done, and quickly.
The states were all going in different directions. They were printing their own money. They were inflating their currency. They were doing protectionism. They were proving how hard it is to govern.
A confederation ultimately doesn't work. Why? Because you have one government telling another government what to do.
And this was a time of great danger, and they all knew it. They knew they were falling apart.
What had up till now never been possible becomes possible. A constitutional convention in 1787 in Philadelphia